where you been and where you going. This is Ari's travel show, yeah. We're gonna talk about travel today. It's You Be Trippin, yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to You Be Trippin, the greatest podcast in the history of written word.
It's true.
It is true. Today, I have a comedian, a very funny man who's a regular at the Comedy Cellar. I see him all the time there and the stand. Simeon Goodson.
Hello, Ari. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you having me.
Yeah, dude, I'm stoked to have you on. Where are you taking us today?
I guess we're gonna go to China. We're going to mainland China.
We're going to mainland China.
Mainland China, East China. I lived in Wuxi
He lives in Wuxi.
for
Damn.
3 years, from 2018 to 2021.
Where's Wuxi?
Wuxi is a 45-minute high-speed train trip from Shanghai,
I got
or
my notebook out for
a
this.
3-hour drive.
Which one did you do?
We did the high speed.
I did the high speed.
We did the high speed. But when we had to like fly and stuff,
Yeah.
we would have to take the 3-hour drive because you're packed, luggage and all that. So you
Oh,
got to take a
right,
cab.
right.
So that's the only reason we know it was.
Why'd you live in Wuxi?
We lived in Wuxi because my ex-wife was teaching. So she got a teaching contract in Wuxi. Prior to that, we lived in Al Ain, which is in Abu Dhabi in the Middle East.
Oh, damn.
So she was teaching there. She applied to get a job in China, and then she got that job. So we moved from Abu Dhabi to Wuxi.
Dude, China is. I've been to a lot of places. It more like represents the word foreign than any other
Right.
fucking place.
Right. They're very non-compliant. It was one thing that was interesting going to China.
Cheers, by the way.
Before I went, cheers, yes, sir.
Do they have a cheers in China you're supposed to do?
No, they have ganbai.
What is that?
But ganbai is you clink
Yeah.
and you finish the drink. You don't just like,
Like a shot or
no, well, anything. So it's like a shot, like how we do a shot, like
Yeah.
salud,
Yeah.
drink the whole thing. They'll do that, but with anything. If you ganbai,
you got to finish it.
the whole table's finishing it.
So you got, but like if it's a long
Right,
drink,
if it's like a Long Island iced tea, you gotta fucking kill it. That's the ganbai. But the thing is, I didn't know that going in, so I thought it was the same thing as cheers. So I would be like ganbai, and people would be like, "Fuck yeah!" and they would do it, and they would finish whole drinks.
Oh shit,
And I
this
would be like,
guy's
"What are you guys?"
wild.
I was like, "What are you guys doing?" Like, oh god,
You're the one who
And
called
they-
the ganbai?
Right? They're like, "No, you got to do it too." I was like, "What?" So that's how I learned what ganbai was. The difference between ganbai and cheers,
That's funny.
because they have a very heavy drinking culture.
It seems like you'd want to do it at the end of your drink, like right towards the end, like come by this last sip.
Right, that's the idea. Like you're leaving.
Leaving.
Everybody wants to get out. Ganbai. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
get back in our cars and drive home.
What brought you out there? Was it your chick's contract?
Right. She was working. We have kids. We were married, and we were just out there, figuring it out. We left America in 2015. So it was like
'Cause Obama was
peak
in office and you
Obama.
wanted out.
We were
You wanted out.
Right. We were empowered. We were black. We were like, fuck that. We can
Yeah.
conquer the world. Then while we were going, everything fell apart. And we were like, all right.
Dude, I got
right.
I got to Southeast Asia like January, early January of like Trump. And people are like, did you leave the country because of that? I'm like, no, I had this planned already.
Right, I was gonna leave.
It wasn't a political
Well,
statement.
we were considering coming back because Trump won our last year in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like if Hillary won, we would have come back to America. But if Trump won, we were going to fucking just stay
gone.
and travel some more and see what else happens.
Yeah.
So Trump won, and we were like, all right, China it is. Let's go.
How did you get used to it out there? Like, I have so many questions. Who are your friends?
China, you never get used to. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you get used to it.
Yeah.
But it's a very hostage kind of get used to it situation. Like, you
Damn.
can get used to living in someone's basement if you're there long enough. You
They
know
give
what I
you
mean?
McDonald's every day.
Right. Like
Yeah.
if somebody drops you food 3 times a day on a schedule, like you can get used to it. You can acclimate. As
Yeah.
humans, we will learn to deal with that. But
Yeah.
now that since I've been back, I'm like, oh yeah, I was traumatized.
Were you friends with actors? Did you make friends with locals at all?
Locals, well, the problem with making friends, quote unquote, with locals is like you kind of became like a set piece. You know what I mean? Like, the people who were nice to you were genuinely nice to you. They would, like, buy you food and give you advice how to navigate. But you were also kind of like this trophy, like that they would bring around other Chinese people and
Damn.
be like, yo, this is my friend. You know what I mean?
But they're really
But there's
saying
an
like
implication there. They're like, this is my black friend from America.
that's how people treat celebrities here.
Right. It was kind of like that. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's hard to complain about it. I'm not complaining about it, but it was just like not something you want to deal with every day. You know what I mean?
That means probably also, that means, tell me if I'm wrong, but like, that means like, I'm not actually your friend. I'm not like going to be long-term friends with you. I'm just like, I like having you around. In the
Right.
moment.
But I mean, they were like, we all knew when you're in China,
Yeah.
there's no subtext that you're going to be in China forever. You know you're leaving. They know you're leaving.
Oh, right.
The government knows you're leaving. You know what I mean? When you see a foreigner in China and they stay there forever, that's surprising.
Yeah.
When you see a foreigner and they leave in 3-4 years, that's regular.
It's the contract system, right?
It's the contract system. It's the visa system. And it's just not comfortable to foreigners. They don't accommodate. Like Abu Dhabi, the Middle East is very accommodating to outside cultures.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
Like this is a place you can buy pork in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
They don't go there and it's very expensive, but you can get it. Like China doesn't have like shit to make you comfortable.
Somebody said, you know Sean Hebert? Remember him? He was a Hong Kong comic, maybe not. How much overlap was there?
When I was there, none because of COVID.
Oh, right. He said like relationships never get that serious because everybody knows it's usually a 3-year contract, sometimes 5, but like you're whatever period you are. So you're like, hey, we got a year and a half before one of us leaves.
Right.
So it's like it's fun, but this isn't going to be serious.
Right, we can move in.
Yeah.
Like you can do all the super fun shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can like move in and split bills and all that shit.
But like tick.
But you know a year. And it was kind of, I mean, there was a very, because I was also traveling while I was there. So I was in China traveling to other cities in China doing shows and shit. So I was like super duper temporary. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like I'm in your city tonight and I'm in China for...
Were you there long enough where you could tell a difference in vibe between the cities?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You could tell the difference right away. Every city, the main cities, the smaller cities have like a knockoff vibe of whatever the biggest nearest city is.
Yeah.
But like the big cities have their own vibe.
Because Suzhou, I remember Turner was telling me, you know Turner?
No.
You don't know Turner?
I don't know any of these people.
Damn.
I know Ian Vanderhorst.
He helped run the Shanghai scene.
Turner?
Yeah.
No, I think he might have been gone.
He
But
was
you know,
gone.
it was
He was
COVID.
gone
There was a
already.
big
Right,
exodus.
right,
What
right.
happened with me was I didn't really start performing. I crashed a car in Abu
And
Dhabi doing comedy. And I went to jail for like a weekend in Dubai. So like I was kind of on this thing when I got to China where I was like, I'm going to focus on the family. I'm going to, I'm not going to pay attention to comedy. I'm going to really like be like a family dude.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit. And they couldn't fly in comics anymore. So, as a comic, I was still doing like open mics and shit. Once every 3-4 months, I would go out to Shanghai, do an open mic just to get that
that's
shit
kind
out.
of the scene, though.
Right.
Right? It's
But I was just to get that shit out of my system.
Sure.
Like, I'm just going to run a set, every couple months just to fucking flush it out. And then
party
I'll
in
go back,
Shanghai, come back
to
next day.
be a family man.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, and they couldn't, like, bring people out anymore. So the people I had met doing, like, the open mic scene were like, yo, we got these spots all over China that they had set up for when people fly in. You go here, you go here, you go here, you go here.
Yeah.
And all of these spots had the infrastructure, but they couldn't get comics anymore because no one could fly in. So they were like, yo, it's like wide open. You got to do these shows. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do these shows. I'm a family man now. I was like the grizzled assassin in the beginning of the movie.
No, I'm not flying. I'm not traveling for this.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just like, I need to be here for my family. I got kids. I got to take care of my kids. And then my wife and I broke up.
There?
In Wuxi, yeah.
Damn.
So after that, I was just like, yo, like, are those shows still available? Can I still do those shows? And everybody was like, fuck yeah,
Right, it needs
so
some
then
variety.
I started just, like, after we broke, like, literally the day after we broke up, I started, like, booking shows again. Because I was like, the family shit didn't work out, clearly. You know what I mean? I was trying so hard to be a family man, and it didn't work.
I did that when you break up with a chick, and you're like, the next day you fuck some chick that you're like has been trying for a while. And you're
Right.
like, what? Like, no, it's been ready.
Right.
It's over. So like, why are we gonna wait?
Right. No, yeah, you're right. That's exactly what it was. But it was like, it was more so because the girls were, the girls were hard to get at first. Because at that point, I was so
Chinese
distraught.
girls?
Well, I never hooked up with a Chinese girl. I was hooking up with foreign women who are being ignored by all the men because all the men wanted
Dude,
Chinese
that's
women.
the wildest thing. You get a hot, like an 8, right? You get a cute chick.
Super cute, but
Yeah,
she's from
and-
like England.
Right. And here in America or in Atlanta where she's from, she's looked at every day. And now you're in a city of 20 million and 19.95 million of those people just ignore you.
They hate you. They think you're ugly. They think you're gross.
So these women are like, what the
They
fuck?
see you and they're like,
Wow,
ew, what a
wow.
gross bitch. And then I come around and I'm like, God damn, mama.
You're okay. And they're like, that's what
But it's
I
not
need.
even that because I'm fresh out of divorce, so I'm thirsty too. So I'm like, God damn, I want to be loved again. So you know, it was just like, yeah. So once I started touring, once I started hitting the road, there was just like pussy. It was very abundant.
Yeah.
But it was like you said, it was under that understanding, like we're in China. This is not a permanent thing.
It's pretend, right? My friend from
I don't know. I
Hong
felt
Kong,
like
she
it
goes,
was
"I don't
more
wanna get-
real.
I
I
wanna
felt like
get-"
everyone was more real because it was temporary. Like we didn't have to accommodate the future. No one in China was like, well, what's going to happen in 3 years? You know what I mean? We're like, nigga, I'm leaving in a month.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's gonna happen
So
in 3
let's
years.
fuck, like, I'll eat your butt. What up? Let's go. You know what I mean?
Don't
like,
tell anybody.
I don't care. Right.
You
You,
don't know
can tell
anybody I know.
everybody because I'm leaving. I don't care.
Come here, Bennett. Yeah, exactly. Well, she said it was like she didn't want to get back to real life. She called like Canada, I guess, real
right.
life. And it was like, oh, so this is like a pretend life?
Well, it's like a fantasy life. It's like how you're so successful when you play The Sims. You ever played The Sims? And you're like, I go to work every day, I sleep every night, I eat healthy. You know what I mean? Like you play The Sims, and like that's what China's like because you just gotta like you have to endure China, but you also it's like when you play The Sims, like you need time for recreation. So it's like you gotta carve that out.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm just breaking into today's episode to let you know that Simeon Goodson is a stand-up comedian and he wants you to follow him. Yeah. He's got a website, SimeonGoodson.com. That's SIMEON, Goodson.com. I'm not going to make a racist joke right there. He also has a website, an Instagram account called The Simeon Goodson Show on Instagram. He's got 303 followers. Let's get him to 1,000. Let's triple plus his fucking follower base. The Simeon Goodson Show on Instagram at The Simeon Goodson Show. Go follow him right now. He's got a podcast. He interviews fun people. You know what a fucking podcast is. And I'd like to tell you that I have no dates coming up, but I am going to be celebrating Shroomfest July 20th, 21st, or 22nd. I haven't decided yet when I'm taking my mushrooms. If you don't know what Shroomfest is, it's an international, interplanetary, interuniversal holiday to celebrate the great gift that God or the aliens gave us, that is mushrooms. That's right. All you got to do to celebrate is find some boomers and swallow them. Chew them up, make them into tea, do whatever you fucking do. Boof them if you have to. I've never boofed mushrooms, but I got to assume they'll hit extra hard that way. If you don't know what boofing is, look it up. Have you looked it up yet? Spoiler alert, it's when you put shit up your ass. You eat from the exit door. That's right. Yeah. Anyway, try it. Try boofing mushrooms this Shroomfest, July 20th, 21st, or 22nd. There's the Shroomfest shirts. You can get them on website, Shaffir.com. You can also get grinders. You can also get the vinyl of my special Jew, the audio of Jew. It is out right now. I just saw them. Signed the ones I had to sign. The rest are all being shipped out to Phoenix, to Hello Merch to go out. They look great. Get a grinder, get a Shroomfest shirt. What else do I have? I think that's it. Oh, and the vinyl. There's got to be some other merch in there. Regardless, the fact is, we're having a great time doing this episode. An interesting time in China. Playing a DJ. What a fucking... Dude, this podcast fucking juices me up. It really does. I get fucking juiced. Let's get back to it. Hit subscribe wherever you're watching or listening right now. Do me a favor. Let's stop for 10 seconds right now. I'm going to do nothing for 10 seconds. In fact, I'm going to let my hands leave the screen, and I'm going to slowly masturbate for 10 seconds. And I'm going to ask you while this is happening to hit subscribe. I've got jeans on, so this hurts. 5 more seconds. Hit subscribe. Chafy. Now let's get back to the episode.
So you can make like I was making good money in China being a DJ.
That's what you did?
That's what I did mostly.
For who?
Just for clubs and shit, like
For
bars and
whites
shit
or
like
yellows? whatever you call
Well, interestingly, I started out doing black shows. So I was doing like hip hop, Afrobeat shows.
For
so
blacks?
It was so it was a very niche, very niche crowd that we were going for. Right? But our parties started getting packed because the few black people in Wuxi would call their black friends in Suzhou, who would call their black friends in like other small towns, right? So our shit started getting packed. Like our shit was packed the fuck out. And then a Chinese club, like Chinese people started filtering into our parties just because they were so packed.
Because it was like authentic Western?
First they started filtering in because it was packed. They were just like, what the fuck's going on in here? Why there's so many people? Number one, why there's so many black people? This is crazy. So they go in and the party's lit. You know what I mean? It's a party. Like, it's a fun fucking party. Like, so they're coming in, everybody's drunk. They're like, oh shit, there's Chinese people. You know how black people get. So we're like, oh shit, there's Chinese people here. We hugging them up, buying them shots. You know what I mean? They're dying. They're having a great time. And it's maybe like 4 of them. So then the next party, there's 8 of them. Next party, there's 12 of them, right? Next party, there's a promoter who owns a different club. Why the fuck are my people not coming to my club tonight? Why are they coming here? You know what I mean? So by that point, they were just like, yo, can you come do our club?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So by the time I left China, like we were like ramping up where they were like,
can Chinese dance?
No, but they didn't want to dance. They didn't want to dance. They wanted to take photos. That's like all that social media stuff you see, like on TikTok and all that shit with Chinese people, like that's how they live. Like they don't live in the moment. So when we showed up to DJ, they had like photographers ready that we didn't know about. They had like videographers, they had models, they had bottles and shit, they had lights. So they had the regular house DJ, and then they were like, we got special guests all the way from America! Brooklyn, stand up, Biggie Smalls. Like they're doing that shit.
Just saying references you've heard of.
And they're just like, Most Def, Biggie Smalls, Brooklyn, Marcy Houses, right, Jay-Z. And they bring us up, right? And the fucking, there's like not explosions, but like, you know, like strobe lights and fucking cameras flashing. Damn. We were like, what? Like, we didn't know that shit was going to happen. So we were like, what the fuck? But we got to start spinning now. And they were fucking just playing hip hop, like, you know, 90s hip hop, shit like that, regular shit. And they're fucking dying. They're fucking having mad fun. And then, like, we played for like an hour and they were like, bring back on the regular Chinese DJ. Because he knew what they wanted to hear.
What kind of, did they have hip hop?
They had some hip hop, but they have like Chinese hip hop. They have like hip hop.
I know there's a Hong Kong like rap crew or a couple. No,
there was a bunch. They call it trap.
Oh,
in there. It's called trap. So, which we have in America, there's trap music, which is like you would, as an American, you would think that's like T.I., you know, Southern rap. You would classify as trap music. But out there, they call the scene, the hip hop scene, they call it the trap scene. And that's all-encompassing hip-hop scene in China. So that's what they used to do. So they used to, like, wear jerseys. They used to wear dreads and shit. They used to do shit to, like, make their hair look like afro texture. Yeah. Like,
a bunch of dolezals?
They would, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Chinese
dolezals? It was, you know, it was crazy because it was, like, very expensive. So, like, they weren't pretending to be black. Right. They were being Chinese who could afford to look black.
Just dressing the
part. Does that make sense? Like, and it's very expensive to do so because you got to buy Jordans, you got to buy gold chains. You know what I mean? You got to get your hair done.
No, it's wearing a costume.
Way.
I love wearing a costume.
So it's like they aspire. These are kids whose like parents like own a toothpaste factory. Like it makes toothpaste tubes.
Yeah.
For all companies. So like these kids have money. Hip hop over there is not like a poor people's game. You know what I mean? You're not going to see a peasant in a side village like, oh, I fuck with hip-hop.
Right.
Hip-hop in China is like a rich man's
Damn, that's interesting.
Scene.
Because it comes from the streets here.
Right. And they're like, we're importing Americans to DJ our club. That was the image they were trying to portray. Like, we have contact with black people from Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they're selling. That's why we were there. Because they didn't want to hear our music. They didn't want to hear Biggie.
They wanted the culture.
They just wanted the photo op. Like,
dude, that's something that's very instructive about Chinese tourists, the worst tourists in the world, I'll say, is they always get off their bus, take their pictures, and almost go back.
Right.
Like, they're just there to grab pictures for back home.
Right, they don't need the experience.
To a degree. Yeah, exactly. That's why they always stay in like deep Jersey. They get them on a bus over here to the the
right.
Empire
They
State
all
Building.
move together. It's just one like hive mind, and they're like, "This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing."
Here's something you just mentioned because of the rich people. I think there's a misconception about China and capitalism versus communism.
Okay.
What's
the
is
misconception?
Well, I think everyone thinks it's just straight communist. But like everything you earn, you put to the state, then they pay you. But it's not like that, is there? There's rich people and there's poor people.
I think what happens in China, it's very capitalist on like the surface level.
Yeah.
But if you get too big, then communism steps in and they're like, "Nah, son."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, "You're getting too like."
You can make 100, but then like anything over that, we're taking.
Like Jack Ma, who is the owner of Taobao. He was like the richest man in the world at one point.
Yeah.
And then he was like so rich that he got comfortable speaking out against the Chinese government, or not speaking out against them, but just being like, "Oh, their direction is wrong," or like they're not seeing the big picture. He would say shit like that. And then he tried to take Taobao public, and China shut it down. And there was that same thing happened to a company called Didi, which was like the Uber of China. So Didi was like, they took over because, as foreigners, they had like an English Didi. So we didn't even need to call cabs anymore. We just had Didi. So they got huge. And by the time I left, they wanted to go public, and China shut it down.
They won't let things go public.
They don't want you to be bigger. Once you go public, then Americans can invest.
Because
your company's bigger than China.
Everyone says like the Chinese are buying up all our businesses. But like they won't allow that to happen the other way.
That's how that's what they do though. That's exactly what they do. Like they don't want you can't be bigger than China. So Jack Ma, like we haven't heard about him in years. It's been at least he used to be in the news on par with Jeff Bezos, on par with Steve Jobs, on par with Bill Gates, and we haven't heard about
shut
him.
And be happy. That's what they say. I said Yao Ming was one of the only guys big enough to not disappear.
No, but Yao Ming doesn't do that. Yao Ming never comes out and he's like, "Oh, NBA was better than China." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Yao Ming is always like, "CBA is the best shit. I'm happy for my time in the NBA, but it has no comparison."
The Beijing Knights are the number one team
He's like,
of all
"There's
time."
no comparison to the NBA to the CBA. The CBA is number one all time, hands down." They're like, "Fuck yeah, Yao Ming." Right? Everybody's like, "Fuck yeah, Yao Ming. I love that guy."
That's how you gotta learn.
Right.
Just give it up. Who cares if you're lying?
But I mean, I think also he believes it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Because he's like the president, and Steph Curry was out. Steph Curry was one of the biggest celebrities in China when I was
Really?
because he was like past his playing point. He was like a head coach.
Steph Curry?
Steph Curry from Brooklyn, from Coney Island. He was
Wait.
the head coach
No.
of the Beijing team.
Who's
Not Steph Curry. I'm sorry. Steph Marbury. Steph Marbury. Steph Marbury. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Oh, that's right, because I remember him going over there to play.
He went over there to play.
I could sell my shoes forever if I played 2 years there. The Starburys.
Right. But he didn't only. He's the equivalent. He's like
That's right, Stephon Marbury.
he's like I don't want to say a Larry Bird. He's kind of like a Larry Bird out there. Like how we revere Larry Bird. Like he's great. He's a good coach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like on that level where like they respect Steph Curry.
I mean, he's got the pedigree. He was good. He was an all-star a couple times at least.
And he won them, rings, whatever the equivalent over there.
Wow. Was it expensive, China?
Mm-mm.
Not, right?
Absolutely not. China was... My issue with China was I wasn't working. Like, I was doing shows and shit.
Yeah.
But I wasn't doing shows. It wasn't like here. It was like a show at night, get some money,
right.
Work out all the time. Like, the shows were, like, significant. So, but no, everything was significantly cheaper. We had Taobao, which was just like Amazon. But it's like, you got to think, or like eBay, when you order shit from eBay, that's super cheap, but it's like, it'll be there in 2 months. Because it's coming from China, you know what I mean?
Right.
In China, they'll be like, that shit is there tomorrow. You know what I mean?
I love the Chinese versions of other places like they have their own WeChat, that Uber thing you said, that Amazon thing you said. Right. They're just like, we'll just do our own version, and it's for a billion people.
That's how they operate, though, and a lot of it is they allegedly steal the infrastructure from other companies and then just make their own.
Yeah, the copyright laws are like non-existent.
Well, it depends because, like, a lot of times, like they would take down, like, Disney stuff. Like, it would be hard to find Disney stuff once Disney started moving into the market. You know what I mean? Like, you remember how they took John Boyega off the Star Wars poster for China?
Why?
Because he's black.
Because they wouldn't sell.
Because it wouldn't sell in China. So like there was an alternate poster and this shit like
that's
this
the funny
shit
thing. That's the funny thing about woke politics in Hollywood. They're like, we need more of this, and Hollywood needs to respond in somewhere like, you're asking us to make less money.
Right.
You're telling us to make half our money.
Right. That's their thing.
Yeah.
They want to
have
make
a black
money.
lead. I'm like, so it just won't play for 1 billion people? That's what you're telling us? Okay, we'll do it, but that's 1 billion people we're losing.
Right.
Anyway, still go for it. The interesting thing about the contract system is that you'll have a spouse sometimes will not be there on the contract.
I was the spouse.
And they end up teaching English or just something to get just to feel occupied a lot.
Well, prior to COVID, I did get an offer to teach English
Really?
in like a preschool. I was at the
Interesting.
gym, and the lady who owned the preschool was at the gym. It's like a huge private business, but they were trying to shut it down by the time I left.
Really?
Yeah. Because the biggest issue at this point is that nobody wants to have kids.
Out there?
Yeah. Because everybody got used to they had the 1 kid law,
Yeah.
the 1 kid rule, which they then upped to the 2 kid rule. And by the time I left, you could have 3 kids.
You were
legally, you could have 3 kids.
And what was the like vibe though? You could legally have it, but would people do it?
Well, that's the issue because people got so accustomed to being only children or having 1 kid, you know what I mean? That nobody wanted, like there was nothing they could do to incentivize having more than 1 kid.
Right.
Because it's like, it's
They
already
just
so expensive.
Take away the de-incentivization, I guess.
Right.
So we're going to tax you heavy. Like,
but
that's
everybody
cool.
had that's become everybody's life for like
Right.
generations.
Yeah, that's cool. Because if you stop being like, hey, I got to tell my dad I'm only have 1 kid, it's going to be so embarrassing. When that became the normal, my dad's like, yeah, I was an only child, and my
Right.
dad was an only child. We already did this for a while. Then you're like, Dad, I'm going to have 3 kids. Like, I don't care. Instead of like, how disappointing you only have 1 kid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They got used to it.
Well, it's not even like that. It's like, why the fuck would I want to have 3 kids? This shit is so expensive.
Right. Do you know about the Little Prince syndrome?
What's that?
I heard about this. That since they only had 1 kid, these kids got so fucking spoiled.
Right.
Because like 100 years ago, you have 5, 6 kids. If you fuck up, you get beat hard. Because
Right.
they're like, you're not special. You're going to fall in line. And now it's like, he's our only one. He's our fucking little prince. And the kids were fucking awful because no one told them to shut the fuck up. That's what I heard.
You know what I'll say about this? I'll say that child culture overseas is much better than child culture in America.
What do you mean?
Because everyone in America hates kids at this point.
I do.
At this point, no one wants to have kids. No one likes the idea of kids.
I don't.
There's no spaces for kids. You can't even find kids' clothing anymore.
Good.
Which is really bad.
More
for the
school
future.
shootings, less school pieces.
That's really bad. Like it's bad. And you know what? It's like it's realistic because there's no room for kids anymore. So it's not like you're not wrong for not wanting to bring kids into this society. It's
Right.
just bad that there's no space for kids. Like in China, there were places where I could just bring my son and it was just toys there. And I would pay them like $10, the equivalent of $10 US, and my kid could play with like the big Hot Wheels shit that your mom would never buy you with a dinosaur on it.
What places? Just like
In
playgrounds?
the mall, just regular places. These places were scattered throughout the country where you could just take your kid. There's a bouncy castle. You know what I mean? So it's not like here where it's like, oh, you want your kid to be entertained? You got to give me $700, and you're like, nah, I don't like. What about today? Can
I don't want it that bad.
kid? Right. So that's the thing. There's no infrastructure in America to accommodate children, and that's why no one wants children.
Damn.
But if you put that accommodation there, then people will want children again. You know what I mean? It's like like I said, like it would be the big shit, like the He-Man Grayskull Castle type shit. It would be that type of shit, and my kid could just play with that, and then we could go home, and he's fine. He's played with it. He doesn't need it in the house. He can forget about it tomorrow. It was dope.
Yeah.
There was arcades. It was shit. There was in the
I
Middle
remember the
East.
arcades.
In the Middle East, there was shit. There was tons of shit. We had babysitters for like $8 a day. You know what I mean? Who would just like
Really?
do everything. They would clean the house. They would watch the kids. They would put the kids to sleep, bathe the kids. It was amazing.
It's an hour for more than $8.
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. And that's really the issue. The issue in America is that there's no infrastructure for children, and subsequently, nobody wants children.
Yeah. Guys, when I tell you to imagine fresh meat delivered right to your door, what do you think of? Yeah, I know. You think of male hookers. Mail order male hookers. The mail squared. of meat. But I'm not telling you to think about that. What I'm telling you to think about is Butcher Box, fresh, edible meat. And I guess technically male hookers are in a way edible if you eat ass. But why eat ass when you can eat pork raised cage-free? Free-range organic chicken, wild-caught seafood. Dude, I had some legitimately, I had some seafood from them, some salmon. It was so fucking good, man. It was probably, since I literally caught salmon on a boat in Alaska, clubbed the shit out of it over the head, and fried it up right there on the boat. I haven't had anything this fucking fresh. How do they do it? They fucking freeze it. It was so fucking good, man. It was the tits. And that's my words. Legitimately, I don't think you think any company would tell me to say anything about their product is the tits. So you know it's real. ButcherBox.com. Humanely raised, no antibiotics, and no added hormones. You know what else doesn't have any added hormones? This meat. But you can't get that in mail. What you can get is ButcherBox.com in the mail. Plus, it comes with dry ice, which you can put in a bowl in the sink, runs a little bit of hot water on it, and make your whole sink fill up and look like Halloween. That's a bonus that you get for free when you go to butcherbox.com/trippin. That's right. Sign up for ButcherBox today by going to butcherbox.com/trippin. Use the promo code TRIPPIN at checkout and enjoy your choice of bone-in chicken thighs, top sirloins, or salmon in every box for an entire year. Plus, get $20 off. Again, that's butcherbox.com/trippin and use code TRIPPIN. Now let's get back to the episode. Okay, I'm trying to think what kind of food you eat. Expat food or fucking local food?
In China?
In Wuxi or in...
Well, and I cook, so we would go to the grocery and I would buy like the closest things I could see. You know, I would get like, they didn't cut steaks like we do, but they would have beef. So I'd get like some beef, some pork, some chicken.
Yeah.
But the chicken over there had like the head on it, the feet on it, and everything. But
I forgot about that. They just chop it up with the bone in.
Because I had the feet, I had the head, I had the guts and all that shit. So I would just make chicken stock.
What do
so
you do?
I actually started,
boil it all down?
You boil it all down with vegetables, seasonings, and then just reduce it.
Oh, damn.
You know, at a low temperature for a long time. And then you use that in soups and sauces and shit like that. So I was cooking a lot in China.
Oh,
but when I was eating out, I would go to the street food vendors because we were always doing shows. We were drunk, fucked up.
Love a street food.
They didn't come out until nightfall, until the sun went down. So you would go check into the hotel in the day.
Yeah.
It was a big empty plaza. And you're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And then you go, you know, you get ready for the show. You go perform. You come back to the hotel. Now it's a fucking bustling
Yeah, they just set up on the streets, right?
Market.
Did they have those little chairs?
They had the little
kindergarten
chairs. They would have an ice tray with food on it. And you would literally pick up your food with your hands in the middle of the street. They would put it on fire, season it, make some. There was a fried rice guy. There was a fucking noodle guy.
They just walk around. Cheap though, right?
It was super cheap.
What
Super cheap.
I remember, like tossing something. It was like skewers, and just, you know, you did I don't know your language. But I'll point one of those, two of those, you know, one of those, and then eating one was like, oh, it's so good. Eating another one's so good. Eating another one,
right.
But like it was 40 cents. So whatever the skewer is, I'm done with it. I lost to 40 cents. No big deal. Give me the next skewer.
Right. No, that's how that was those are my most favorite food memories. At one point, the place we used to go to by Smooth they started getting
Smooth was the club?
Smooth was the club I used to play at the most. They started getting fucking lamb like ribs.
Lamb is the best meat.
Like lamb shank. Just like it would be like one lamb rib, but it would be on the ice. So we would get there like 3 a.m. There's like only 3 left or some shit, and there's 6 of us. You know what I mean? So it's fucking hell. Like, oh no, that's my lamb. Right. Yo, but it was so, and then we would share, of course. It was just, you know. And then we would get the bottle of Baijiu. That's like that 300%.
Is Baijiu the one? They said there's an alcohol that is the most drunk alcohol in the world, but you can't find it in America.
You can find it.
Is it Baijiu?
But it's Baijiu. I don't know if that's what
the drink of China.
To. That's what they drink. Yeah,
Baijiu.
That's the Baijiu. That's the.
You can find it here.
You can find it. You can't. Yo, you can find it over there, like in the equivalent of a 7-Eleven.
No.
Yeah, like this big, about $3. Boom, throw that back before the club.
What is it? Liquor?
It's hard liquor.
Really? It's hard.
It's hard liquor. Oh my god!
$3 you can get hard liquor?
Yeah. You could get drunk for cheap there. You could get a beer, a tall boy, for like $1, like a good beer. Like I was drunk like after we got after we broke up, me and my ex, like I was drunk from that point, like on
Till
like,
still now.
Right. Like I'm tapering now, and it's not going well. But like I'm just starting to sober up from that ordeal.
Dude, that was one of my favorite memories in Beijing. Was walking along after a show, hanging out with the comedians there, and then we're just I think we went to a bar or something, and then it was like walking home or from wherever the fuck we were, maybe in the Hutongs, and then it was just like, let's get a beer. But it's like, it's 3 a.m. Nobody sells beer.
24/7.
There's some guy, it's too hot to sleep, so he's out front trying to like nap, and then we're like, yeah, sure, and you can just drink it on the streets.
Yeah.
It was the difference between like okay, I guess we'll get from that into this, like the freedoms and shit. Because my friends, when I got back, they're like, it's totally not free, right? I'm like, well, you can't get on Google, but you can drink a beer like a fucking adult.
Right.
On the street at 3 a.m.
And you know what? You can also take a nap.
Just where
if you want to like lay down on a bench in China and take a nap, nobody's gonna rob you. Nobody's gonna fucking harass you.
It's safe.
The cops are not gonna. It's not about safety. It's just like, sometimes motherfuckers need a nap.
Yeah, but I'm
like
saying like you can feel comfortable doing that because it's safe.
Right. Well, I don't know if you do it because it's safe or you do it just because everyone else is doing it.
But I'm not doing that here.
Right. I wouldn't lay down and take a nap here. But you could do that. And then it would be like, it wouldn't be like a homeless person. It would for real be like a dude, like a 45-year-old man.
In a suit.
He's got like bags with him. Like he's waiting for his wife or some shit to finish shopping. And he's just like in a recline to sleep. And you're like, all right. And you could, China was, if I'm being perfectly honest, like
Please.
I would have preferred to just like bring everybody I love to China.
What do you mean?
Just to
live,
them. You know what I mean? Just because it was just like, it was inexpensive. There was food there. It wasn't the shit we know. You know what I mean? But it was like, like you can't get, the KFC tastes different. It was shit like that. You know what I mean? So it was just like, I didn't mind cooking. But it was just like, it was so inexpensive. You could do things. The high-speed railroad was amazing. It's like if you could get to like San Diego in like 5 hours on a train.
From here.
Real quick. From here. And you don't have to fucking check into the plane. You don't have to check your luggage. You know what I mean? You just jump on the train.
I remember not being like, I think we might have taken it to Wuxi actually.
Probably.
From Shanghai to Wuxi. I think that's what we took.
It was like
we slept there that
minutes.
night.
Yeah.
What was the bar? Red Lion?
Red Lion, yeah. Those are the same people who own Smooth.
I remember it was when I noticed about the expat scene there was like it was Italians, Germans, Americans, Canadians, and Irish. And they were like, doesn't matter. Here we're the expats.
Right.
And
that
so
was
it was
our
like,
scene. And well, when I was there, it wasn't quite. When I was there, the makeup was more like Irish, British, African, American, and then like some like Latinos sprinkled in there. You know what I mean? But not like, so it would be like a Chilean and a Venezuelan.
And people met up in English?
Yeah, everybody connected in English. But the Latino, because I would do a lot of like salsa parties and shit like that. So there was a Latino scene out there. There was a Mexican restaurant named Cheetos. So it was just like, it was fun.
Yeah.
Our city was fun. When I was there, it was fun just because I was DJing. Like, I was just trying to do anything. You know what I mean? Because when you're just like a performer and then you just find yourself at home all day, every day with no, you know what I mean? With no means. And in the Middle East, I could like perform. I could like kind of like bully my way into clubs and be like, oh, we'll just do an open mic. Oh, we'll just do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll just do a quick show, me and my friends. Like, you could kind of, like, convince them to
do
that shit. But in China, it was just like, no. It was like, no, you can't do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the fact that I got the DJ stuff going was good.
Yeah. It was cool. Everyone was like, just meet. It's like, yeah, let's drink again. You got to meet up at the bar and drink or stay home. But it's like, what else are you going to do?
Right. And home wasn't that comfortable because the TV was weird. Netflix was hard. You know, you need VPN for shit.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the government, was it like a constant worry or is it just a small thing you had to deal with as a difference?
No, the government, it was like you don't want the government involved. Even like Chinese people didn't. Like if I committed a crime, if it wasn't heinous enough, no one was calling the cops. You know what I mean? Like no one wants the cops there.
Even the locals wouldn't
Even
call
the locals don't want the cops there. Because then it's like, even if nothing happens, now the cops are on you. Now they're keeping an eye on you. They're going to come back. They're going to check the tapes from your venue. They'll revisit. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's how the cops are. What would happen sometimes is like the president would visit the city and they would be like, no parties.
Because they're like, hey, just don't.
Yeah, they're just like, don't
Guys,
do
it's not the
anything.
time. It's not
Don't
the
do
time.
anything at all.
He'll leave and never come back if we just shut the fuck up.
He'll come back. He'll
Right.
definitely come back. But it's like he'll leave, and then like everybody will be happy. They'll say, "Oh, your city's so clean. It's so nice. Everyone's having a nice time." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It looks pleasant. There's no foreigners dancing.
It's great. Could you smoke weed there?
No, I found a connect to get like oil vape out there, but I don't know. It was super duper strong. It was like hit it once and like fall out.
Dude,
I passed out.
I had a
times.
joke about it, but when I was there, they said the weed in, I'm trying to think if it was Shanghai or Beijing or China in general, was up to 25% shoe polish, the hash.
Okay.
And I was like, that's too high a percentage for me. 5% shoe polish I'll take.
Right.
But
I mean, I don't know if it really was weed.
Yeah.
It might have just been like opium vape.
Was opium around?
No. I mean, I wasn't looking for drugs.
Okay.
Because
you have a family too.
I stumbled upon drugs just from DJing and shit like that. You know what I mean? Being in the party scene, you're gonna find
You're
drugs.
a DJ, of course.
Right. So it was like I stumbled upon weed, and at that point, I was just like, yeah, I fucking would love some weed. And then, but what I used to do, I used to dilute it with like regular vape juice, and then you could just smoke it. You know what I mean? You could
What I
just walk
noticed is
around.
they didn't even know what the fuck weed smelled like because it's such a white only drug that they're like you can smoke in the street. The cops don't even know what the fuck it is. In
Right.
Shanghai,
When
it
I
was-
went to, well, not Shanghai. When I went to, I think it was Chengdu. They were talking about that. They were because I saw like a head shop.
Where's Chengdu?
Chengdu is
That's not-
south.
That's not right over the border of Hong Kong, is it?
No, it is. It's by Changzhou,
Yeah.
the mountain city.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like Changzhou, and which is both.
Did you learn Mandarin at all?
I learned like 谢谢,
Sure.
再见,
What's
你好,
再见?
再见is goodbye.
Oh.
I
I hit somebody with a
Good
sure sometimes, and they're like, all right. They always give me a
yeah,
look
I do,
here. Like,
I do it
thanks.
at the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
I hit them with the xi
If you learn to say thank you or please in any language, if you
Right,
go to a
that's all
local
you
restaurant,
need.
people are like, all right.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned. All you need is thank you and please.
Yeah.
Or sorry, dui buchi. Sorry is a good one.
What is it?
Sorry, dui buchi.
Dui buchi.
Because then you can just like touch someone lightly and say it, and they're like, "Oh nah, fuck
Hey.
it." They're like,
That's
"Fuck
cool.
it, man. Nah, you're good."
You're good. That's cool. That's cool of you to learn that.
Right. So sorry is a good one to like make friends and learn how to get money.
We can't talk about China without discussing the bathrooms.
So many levels of bathroom in China.
Interesting.
America has one level of bathroom.
Clean
that's
or dirty.
graded or dirtiness.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Filth level.
Yeah.
We have one in we had a
One style.
Now they've introduced like bidets and stuff, additions you can put onto
Guns?
American bathrooms.
They have the guns?
Here?
Bum guns? No, out there.
Oh, they had those in the Middle East. Oh, you mean in China? Oh no,
Yeah.
China. I don't think. Well, all right. China bathrooms start. Where we going from top to bottom? Because if we go from bottom to top, it might be too far.
It might be
I think
too
if we
far.
go from top to bottom, you
Let's
guys
start-
can
let's start from
understand
top to
a little
bottom.
better.
Okay.
All right. So at the top of the bathroom food
Food
chain
chain.
is going to be Korean toilets.
Oh, interesting.
Korean toilets are the best toilets like
What?
on earth.
What do they got?
They have the bidets, but it's like, you ever seen Star Trek?
Sure.
Like Jean-Luc Picard,
I've never seen him shit.
but that's what his chair
Oh.
is what the toilet is like.
Wow,
where you're like,
interesting.
You know, you do your business, and then you're like, I need a spray here. I need to gauge the strength of said spray, the spread. You know, do I want to stream? Do I want to spray? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can do all of this like Picard, like
Oh my god! Right,
right,
there.
like
Said it all.
right, like that. So that's the top, and that's the one with the robotic arm
It comes
that
out.
comes
It's like,
out.
not hit me,
You
it's
can
like, I'll
hear
get
it.
there.
You can hear it going.
Yeah.
Right, it sprays you.
That's the Korean
it's
toilet.
Warm. You know what I mean? It's not ice.
Does it have the
cold.
air to dry you
You
off?
have that option. You can blow dry. Right. So that's the top of the top.
Damn.
Then below that, you have just a standard toilet. You know what I mean? Just regular. You sit on it. It has a soft close mechanism, so you
U.S.
can't
toilet.
slam it. A U.S. toilet.
style. Okay.
And then
U.S.
from
style
there,
number 2. Okay.
then from there,
Okay.
it gets crazy. Right? From there, all right. What's the next one down? Next one down, I'm gonna go squatty potty.
Yeah.
Now the squatty potty, you have your own stall, very much like we do here in the U.S. Just a stall.
Hold on. This is the next one down, but not the down?
Oh no, we go lower.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah,
Wait,
go
how
ahead.
low? Wait, I thought that's why you.
No,
asked.
yeah. I thought this was getting to the end. Go ahead. I didn't
There's
realize.
only one or two below.
Oh, this is bad because this should be the worst in the world. what you're
No,
about to
this
describe.
is not the worst at all. This is what they had in the gym, actually.
Okay.
So the squatty potty is you have a stall. It's personal.
Yeah.
There's a roll of toilet paper. There might
Oh.
be a bottle of Lysol.
Okay.
Toilet cleaner. Might be a brush, right? But there's no bowl. There's nothing to sit on. There's some foot pads.
Right next
There's
to the...
a hole in the floor. There might be a string. There might be a flush. But it's a bathroom.
Yeah.
It's just not a bathroom you're accustomed to. It's still clean. It's still functional.
Okay.
But you got to also have hamstrings and quads.
Do they teach you how to do it? I feel like
No,
at the
they
border,
leave
they
you
should
to
be-
yourself. They leave
It's
it to
so
you.
hard to find out
So
how to
when
do
I
it.
first time I did it, I had to brace behind, like my
On the
upper
floor?
legs. I had to brace because there's a hole in the floor.
Yeah.
Then beyond the hole, there's a square, like a porcelain square, which
Yeah.
is where your feet go, some splash, whatever. That's what it's. So it's easy to clean. So and behind that, it's just regular floor. And
But it's
walls.
floor
So-
with piss on it, probably.
Right, but what
But
am
what
I
are you
gonna
gonna
do?
do? What are
I'm
you
either
gonna
gonna
do? Yeah,
fall
you-
into this hole or I'm gonna put my hand.
So you go backwards as if you're about to do some breakdance move? You know,
I go
where-
back. Well,
like
first
you're
I
holding
try
on-
and squat like I think I can.
Yeah.
But you just can't do
can't.
it. So then I got to brace
Yeah.
with backhand, right?
Yeah.
Then I started doing squats, started doing deadlifts, and then I was able to do it with a front brace where I could hold up. And, you know what I mean? Lean
forward a little
forward
bit.
on the door.
But don't topple over
But
because you're
don't
holding.
topple over and also don't have to touch the dirty floor
Right,
behind.
right.
So
Okay, that's a step up.
So this is, and then by the time I left, I could go, full sumo, just focus and
You just
hold.
knew you could just do it by
You
then.
could,
Years.
you could, but you had to do it often. Like if you did it for like a week and then didn't do it for 2 weeks, you got to
forgot
start
again.
over. You got to start with the brace again, like because it's really just like an exercise thing. Like it's really like just like a workout thing. Like you got to get your inner legs good.
Yeah.
All right, so that's
Step.
that was
Three.
three.
Yeah.
Three of.
We'll see.
Let's say 3 of 5. Let's do
Okay.
2 more. Number 4, we'll do natural, outside doing your business.
No, I don't know. What does that mean?
Just like peeing in a bush, peeing on a tree, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And I only bring that up.
No toilet, you mean?
No toilet at all. And that only happens in an emergency. But the emergency, I would say, is less of an emergency for them than for us. Like for you to like shit in the street, you would be like, I got to shit.
It went really bad.
Right now. I think for them, they're like, I got to shit in the street.
I don't want to look
I
for
don't
another
want to
place.
wait till
Right.
I get home. I think it's less healthy for me to, you know what I mean?
So they shit in the street.
So they not in the street, but like you'll see a woman coming from behind a bush, and you're like, God damn.
Damn,
you know
really?
what I mean?
On the reg.
Not on the reg,
But like,
but it happens more than you would think.
wow. Because I remember seeing the kids.
Kids also. So I would
shorts
lump
that were like this, and they
I would
squatted,
lump
it would go like
kids
that.
into this one because you'll see a grandma hold like a kid over a sewer, and they'll just like poop into the sewer. They'll clean the baby, throw the towel into the sewer. So there's no shit on the street. You know what I mean?
That is nice.
You know what I mean?
Curb
that's,
your dog.
You're right.
Yeah.
So you'll see just like a little kid just like pooping, and you're like, all right. So that's number 4. Now number 5 is the worst. Number 5 is gonna be the shared poop stream.
What?
Now, have you ever been to a urinal, but it's not a urinal, it's just like a wall.
Trough.
A trough, where you and a bunch of dudes are just standing there.
Yeah,
peeing.
but that's
They
that's
have
disgusting for
those
peeing.
for poop in China. So what it'll be is one long, like you and I are sitting like this, right? But there's a wall between us. We don't see each other. However, underneath us is like a shared stream
So the wall
of
goes-
water.
Just going down like
just streaming down. So there's a guy to your right. There's a guy to his right.
Starting the water slide, and then it just goes that way.
Right. And there's a running flow of water.
Of shit water, though.
Well, it depends where you're sitting.
If you're downstream from somebody.
Right. And you're probably downstream. So that's the absolute worst one where you kind of
is that a hole in the floor trough or is it above?
I mean you're there's a place for you to be, but it's not like a toilet. You still got to squat. You still need your squat skills from level 3, but you also need your public urination skills from level 4.
If the worst happens and you fall in,
it's over.
It's over.
It's over. There's no coming back from that.
You gotta kill yourself.
There's really no coming back from that.
Because other people.
But you have like fail safes. Like you gotta grab the dirty. I'm sorry. You gotta grab like the dirty wall, or you gotta grab like the dirty floor. Like you can't fall in. Like you literally cannot fall in.
Wow.
It's not an option.
Where's Wuxi?
Wuxi's gonna be.
Where's?
Oh, this is an old ass racist map.
It's very
Look, it's Nankin with a K.
It's an old
Peking.
Map.
That's
hilarious. They don't have the fucking
Mongolia.
Countries.
Yeah. So we're gonna be. Shit. I'm going to assume... all right, so I'm going to say around here-ish.
Yeah, right around there, yeah.
Yeah, because Ningbo... Woo, oh, look.
Woo.
Woohoo.
Oh, Shanghai's right there.
All right, so yeah, we were about right here.
Oh, maybe that's woohoo.
Maybe, but not. I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah. I like these old maps. It's like you kind of know where it is, but you're like, what? Damn, that would be...
So, but you only saw that bathroom. When you saw that bathroom, you knew that bathroom was coming because you were like in an outdoor mall or like a market or some shit like that. You weren't like in like a hotel.
House. Right.
You know what I mean? Right. You're not at someone's house, but so it's like if you are at that bathroom, you already know what's up.
I go to the bathroom like here, and you're like, I know, but yes.
Right, the kids are like, I gotta pee. You're like, get the fuck out of here.
Not now, you're not. That's crazy.
You're like, absolutely
not.
Get
the fuck out of here.
Your pants. That's fine.
You don't want this, bro. Were there weekends in Shanghai, or was it all just? I mean, not Shanghai, in China, Wuxi, or was it all just day?
What do you mean?
So, like in Myanmar, they didn't have the idea of a weekend. They didn't have the idea of those 2 days off. So when you're like, are the weekends busy? You're like, what's a weekend? It's just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Well, we had weekends because my ex-wife was teaching.
Yeah.
So they had the school week, and then they have.
Okay,
Saturday,
but was it like like if you go out on Saturday night in New York, it's busier than if you go out on Tuesday night in New York? Was it like that there, or was it all
nightlife wise? Yeah.
Okay, they did have weekends.
Yeah, we had weekends. We had for sure. But I think like the bigger cities probably had a more, like a less defined shift in the work week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Shanghai would have like a financial district, but Wuxi was just teachers and fucking.
It's so weird to be in an out of town city. Like we went to Suzhou, and Turner, who was running it then, he goes, "It's just you won't be here long enough to know, but Suzhou feels like a sleepy city because it's like a neighbor city to Shanghai. Right. But it's still 8 million people. Right. But it feels sleepy.
We were like 2 million in Wuxi, and they were like, "This is a tiny town."
Wow.
Like you look.
Wow, bigger than Nashville.
Right.
Damn.
I think Wuxi had like a similar population to New York or something like that.
To the city?
Yeah, but it was just like they were like, that means nothing to us.
Damn. What were the foods besides like that? What else was there like in China, food wise?
Well, they did a lot of hot pot.
Oh, that's cool.
Hot pot was good, and then we had this place that we used to go to called the Wallux, which was a hotel. It was like an international hotel, and they used to do like a breakfast, like an international like brunch dinner buffet.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because it was kind of Americanized, but you could still see the Chinese influence. So it was kind of like the equivalent of going to like Chinese takeout here.
And where the Chinese people are like, ugh.
What do you mean? No, they like it's like Chinese takeout here to us. So we go to Chinese takeout, we're like, authentic Chinese food. But then Chinese people eating, they're like, all right, yeah, I guess.
I guess it's a good take on Chinese.
Right. So it was like their take on American food. You know what I mean? So it was like it was still like nuggets and fries and shit, but it was just like a little different. You know what I mean? There was a little soy sauce in it or some shit. You know what I mean?
Chicken head nuggets.
That's what we used to eat over there. So it's like when you see Chinese people eating at Panda Express, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You're like, is that good to you?
They're like, no.
And they're like, but it's the closest thing you guys got.
That's funny.
To home.
That's
So.
funny because when I was there, something that I noticed was like a lot of people were just like, "Hey, we've already eaten Chinese food a bunch. We just want our own food." So we'd only eat like American style places.
Right.
And that it made me understand why Chinese people here like we're just sticking to our own.
Right.
Like, I tried a burger. I tried a burger 5 times.
It's great.
I'm not gonna
it's
eat
great.
that every day.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's not what I'm used to.
Yeah.
Right. I need some noodles. Right, because they would eat like for breakfast. My kids' classmates would have like a bowl of noodles. You're
really?
just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what was the breakfast like there?
Like a hotel breakfast was fucking weird.
Yeah.
It would be like rice and noodles.
And dragon fruit.
Right, dragon
like,
fruit. It would be fruit, but it wouldn't be like, there was no like omelet station.
Yeah.
There's no waffle iron. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I went to a hotel breakfast in Texas a couple weeks ago. That was like the first hotel breakfast I've been to in America. I was like, what
waffle
the
station?
fuck? Right. There was waffles and omelets and fucking bacon piled to the ceiling. I was like, fuck yeah.
Are there fat people in China or no?
There is like 1 or 2 fat people, and they're kind of like, that's like their personality. It's not like America where it's like mad fat people.
I think I remember saying like, "There's no fat people." I was like, "Oh, that's a fat guy." He's finally wet. My
Right.
friend was like, "Dude,
our
that's-"
definition of fat is different. I saw like
No, but I saw a
one-
guy that he
by
was like-
American standards, I saw like 1 or 2 fat guys.
Yeah, fat.
By
Texas
their
fat.
standards, there was fat
right.
people.
Well, the one I
everywhere.
picked out was like, "That's one," and my friend's like, "Dude, it's not that you're racist, but that's a Korean." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, you can tell it's different, but that's a visiting Korean."
All right.
I'm like, "Oh, damn." So really, no Texas fat is what I saw.
No, you don't see like wheelie scooters fat.
Hey, did you see any like Uyghur shit, or was it completely removed from like the discourse? Or
No, I didn't see any. It wasn't. That was happening
did you
in
hear
the
about
South.
it? Okay,
We weren't allowed to talk about it. I knew about it because I had a VPN and Reddit and shit. But
explain what a VPN is so that people don't understand
it's
how it
something
came
so
in
you
handy
can
in China.
Bypass. Well, they put a wall, the firewall up, the Great Firewall as they call it.
That's what they called it?
Yeah.
The Great Firewall of China?
So it's just kind of like you can't see anything really. Like there's no Twitter, there's no Facebook, there's no Google, there's no. Assume it's not there.
A
Whatever
lot of
you
random
love to
sites.
use the most.
They'd be like, "What? You can't
Not
get on
even
this?"
random sites, because sometimes you'll like use whatever their chat was. I think Weibo or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you say some shit like, "What day is Chinese New Year?" on their internet, and the site would take like 20 minutes to load, and you're just like, you know what I mean? They're just like filtering it
to see if it's okay.
just to see like if everything, because it's in English. Number one, it's it's a weird site. I don't know.
Was there a lot of like government spying on you?
We got spoken to in I think Nanjing.
Yeah.
We got spoken to in Nanjing because we were doing a show for a wine tasting, and the assumption was that a competing wine, what do they call
Brand?
them?
Company?
Seller.
Oh, yeah.
But not like a distributor.
Okay.
Like a competing wine distributor got wind of the event and reported us for performing, because my visa was a spouse visa, so I wasn't supposed to be making money.
That's right.
Under any circumstance. So while we're doing the show, the fucking cops show up, and there was 3 of us performing. All 3 of us, they brought us like into the station, and they interrogated us for like 8 hours. So while they're interrogating us, they're like, they have this folder, and they're showing us like old flyers of shows that we had done like months.
So
and
don't even
months
try
and
to lie.
months ago.
Wow.
Like
they
that had
just,
nothing to do.
and they had
and
them ready.
this is the local Nanjing government. This
so they're
isn't
just
even
keeping
like
tabs
this
at all
isn't even
times.
like the whole Chinese government.
Wow.
This is just the local Nanjing government. So they're going through, and their argument is, somebody reported this, so we have to follow up.
Okay.
And they kept saying that, and the only reason they kept saying that was because they didn't want to be there. You know what I mean? They were like, this is not worth our time, because we weren't performing for like sold out stadiums, making millions of dollars. We were making fucking $200 to split.
So even the cops know,
to
like,
split
ugh.
between 3 people. You know what I mean? And free drinks and dinner in a hotel. That's what we were doing. So they weren't like, we're shutting you down, foreigner. They were like, somebody said something. You guys are being too obvious with the shit you're doing, and you're bothering us now, and you need to fix that. So that was their real message. And then they were like going through this folder. They're showing us all these flyers. They're showing us WeChat profile shit.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a show tonight. Oh, this is us at our show taking pictures. All that shit. So
What? So they just had a file on you already?
I guess. I mean, I don't know if they had one already, or if they got it once the report came in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Either way, it's fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if they can just get that information when they need it, or if they're just accumulating it, either way is fucked up. But they were just like, all right, here's the deal. Don't perform in Nanjing no more. Nanjing no more. If you want to perform in Nanjing, you got to call us first. And we were like, all right, no problem. And they let us rock. But granted, this is 8 hours later. So this is not just like a slap on the wrist. We were fucking sweating like, what the fuck is about to happen?
Yeah,
like I was broken up with my wife and I still messaged her like, yo, this might be it. You know
yeah,
what I
because
mean?
that's the fear. It's like once they get you in custody,
right.
It's like,
I was like,
who
this
knows?
might be it. I'm so sorry.
Damn. I'm sorry for everything. I cheated on
Right.
you more than you know.
I'm sorry for everything I put you guys through.
Oh my God.
And then I got home. I was like, fuck you, bitch. I'm back, bitch.
You didn't think you'd see me again. You ratted on my show. It didn't work.
Bitch, I'm back.
How was COVID there? Were they disappearing people?
Not where I lived.
Yeah.
Because Wuhan is relatively north.
Yeah.
So I think Mongolia is not a real thing. Wuhan's kind of midway between Beijing and Shanghai, so it's probably gonna be around here somewhere. I don't know for sure. But so Chinese New Year, they give a break. Like they stop everything. Like they stop doing everything. So Chinese New Year happened, and then they shut the whole country down, and then COVID happened. Like the beginnings of COVID, like during Chinese New Year. So it was just kind of like, there's a new disease out, guys. Shit is getting weird. Stay tuned for more updates. And this is while Chinese New Year is happening. So people are like traveling abroad. There's people who've left China. There's all
when
types
is Chinese
of
New
shit.
Year? Not January 1st.
It changes. It fluctuates year by year. It's a lunar cycle. So it's like it's around January to February each year.
Okay.
But it moves around a lot. So it's just like Chinese New Year happened, everything shut down, and then from there, they were just like, there's a new disease out. People were flying out. People were overseas, and then they were just like, we're gonna extend Chinese New Year, so don't go back to work yet, don't go back to school yet.
Wow.
We're just gonna stay shut down for a little bit. And then, so everybody, was kind of happy at that point. They're like, oh shit, couple extra weeks of vacation, let's go. And then it started getting worrying, like, all right, when are we going back? And they're like, no, just shut down for a little more. Then they acknowledged COVID. Then they shut everything down, no flights in. So there were people who were stuck outside.
Couldn't get back.
Of China.
Yeah.
Couldn't get back in. There were people who were stuck in China, couldn't get out. We stayed the whole time. And then it was just kind of just like nobody knew what was going on. Like, when can we leave? When can we stay?
Would they let you out of your homes? Or?
Yeah, we could go buy groceries. At one point,
but then
they
right
were
back.
Like,
Groceries.
well, you could be outside, but we had these codes on our phone. So it would be green, yellow, or red. So red meant you have COVID. Yellow meant you were around somebody with COVID, or you were in an area where somebody had COVID. And green meant you were fine. So if you had a green code, you could go wherever.
And you would have to show people your code?
You have to scan your code. Yeah, you have to show people everywhere you went. You have to show the code.
And so it's like, hey, and they would send you come in contact with someone. You were at a restaurant 2 days ago. Someone else had it there.
Right.
So,
then your code would turn yellow. You
like,
wouldn't even know what happened.
And people are like, we don't want you here.
It wouldn't even have to be a restaurant. It could be like the train station.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some shit with there's 1,000
How many times
people.
did you get yellow?
Never. Not once.
Interesting.
Not once. But it wasn't. They were very they were very locked down. Like we were very, very locked down. Like if somebody got COVID in the city, they would shut down the city.
Really?
You know what I mean? Like if a yellow or a red coat showed up, like across town, like the equivalent of the Bronx.
Yeah.
And they would be like, all right, New York shut down.
Wow.
Nobody can come. Nobody can go.
Wow.
Right, until the shit is over. Like they would do that periodically. And then we eventually just opened everything back up. And then that's when America shut down. So that's like March-ish, late February, March or so.
Damn.
Yeah. And that's because prior to us opening back up, we were kind of like, once this shit opens back up, we're going back home. You know what I mean? Like, fuck this. This shit is not worth it. Fuck China. Fuck everything. We're going home. And then we got out of it. And that's when America, because and mind you, I'm like on my Instagram sparingly. But I'm like, yo, shit is crazy over here. I'm showing my mask. I'm in the store. People like, yo, watch out. Be safe, bro.
Yeah.
Hold it down, sir. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's the messages they're sending me. And then March comes. America shuts down completely. And we were just like, you know what I mean? We were just like, fuck, I guess we here.
Yeah, where's there to go? Everyone's
Right.
trying to get that last flight to America with the idea that, like, this disease won't be in America.
There were a bunch of flights like that,
Yeah.
though.
We knew a guy who he missed the last flight out. There's always last
Right.
flight outs. He missed the last flight out from Vietnam.
People were chartering planes. People were like chipping in and like getting private jets.
But he said
and then there was like a whole thing where people were like leaving their animals and being like, if anyone's flying to America, please bring my dog. And it was just like,
oh,
yeah.
no,
It was
dude,
crazy.
That dog's dead.
But, it was cool.
Damn. How hard was it once you finally did leave? Like, getting used to and like making the decision, like, it's because you were there for years.
Well, I wanted to leave because I was already broken up with my ex, and
That's what brought you there.
I was just kind of just like struggling, not struggling, but just like suffering through it.
Yeah.
Until it was time to leave. Like, I was very much looking forward to leaving and getting back to New York. Plus, like, when I was there, it looked like everybody was super successful. You know what I mean? It's like a bunch of streaming shows coming out.
Here?
Yeah, like in New York, there was a bunch of like festivals.
COVID made people step up.
People are doing fucking spots and shit. I'm like, I want to get back there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was like the biggest. I'm not gonna say I was the biggest thing in China. Obviously, there's like huge guys from there, but like for what I was doing, for the effort I was putting in, like I was where I could get. Like outside of that, I would have needed to dedicate myself to Chinese comedy. You know what I mean? To like figuring out the scene, producing shows out there, getting government licenses. I didn't want to do that at all. Like, I didn't even want to be there.
It's not part of joke telling.
Right. So I was like, I wanted to get back to New York. I want to compete with the fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With
You got right in.
I want
You
to
got
go
right
back
in
in the
the cellar.
NBA. You know what I mean? Like, I want to get back in the NBA. I want to get back and compete with the fucking competitors. I want to fucking go after a killer or go before a killer or host for a bunch of, you know what I mean?
Like if Hitler
And
came
that's-
back, he's not working at a 7-Eleven. He's
Right.
getting back to murdering.
Right. He's taking on Putin.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going right for
Exactly.
Putin. We're like, damn, do we
Get
fuck
my
with
spot
Hitler
back.
now?
That's so funny. Damn. All right, dude. Is there anything you feel like you left out of the fuck? If you had to tell people what China's like?
China is dope in the same way high school is dope. You should go to high school. You should finish high school. But when you finish high school, you shouldn't be hanging out around high school trying to look cool.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe China. I loved my time in China, but I'm not trying to be like, you know what I mean? Like I tour in China all the time. You know what I mean?
Right,
I want to
right.
just take the experience, let it manifest.
Part of who you are.
Right. And let it go. But like I said, I want to compete, man. I want to fucking.
You are. My
Right.
friend just told me the other day, he was like, he's new here from LA, and he was like, all these hosts in New York, like most of them are just doing like, he followed me around, did 6 spots one night, he just came around to like 4 of them. He was like, they're just like bringing people on. And he goes, who's that guy at the cellar? He was actually like a real comic hosting. It was you.
Oh, thank you.
It
Man.
was like, he's like, even if you just do 30 seconds, like,
Right.
it's your show. It's like you get it. Not everybody gets it.
But that's all, it was like, the one thing I really appreciate about my time overseas is like, I really had to work for comedy.
What do you mean?
Like, I had to like
Work to get it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like in New York, like people get lazy
Yeah,
because
the shows are
there's
everywhere.
shows, like people will give you a show. You can get a spot.
Yeah.
Like I can go get a spot.
You can just be there and be like, hey, you want to go on next? Like,
Right.
okay.
I can get it.
Yeah.
Or I can call somebody. I can text somebody. I can get it. Like
Yeah.
overseas, there were no spots to get. Like if you want to perform, you got to put the whole shit together. You got to put together like the audience, the venue, the promotion. Like if you want to perform, you got to fucking perform. And like you got to like it really makes you acknowledge that you love this shit. You know what I mean? Where you're like, all right, fuck it. Because like I said, for a good chunk of time, I was just like, I just won't do it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with not doing it. But when there was like a void, when there was no comedy, I was like, I gotta step it up.
I want this. That's interesting.
I was like, I gotta fucking,
yeah.
I gotta get in there. It was calling me. It was like, yo, you gotta fucking do comedy again.
You're doing
You
great.
can't stop doing comedy.
Yeah.
And then I got back here, and it's just like, oh man,
It blew up for you pretty fast.
I don't think it.
Well, I mean,
blew
you're getting
up,
a lot of
but I
spots.
think-
You're in the scene.
But I mean, I feel like I'm just applying the same work ethic that I had in China. Like this is the same level of pressure I put on in China. It's much better results because it's New York City. It's
I know,
the
but like
greatest
the
comedy city
standard,
in
like
the
I've seen a
world.
lot of people, and the standard is like, hey, I'm new. I just came from Wuxi. They talked to you had been there. I'm like, oh, cool. And in my head, not because it's you, but like that's a guy who's going to be here for 3 months, and then I'll probably never see him again. I might see him in 2 years, but instead you're like an everyday guy.
No, that's what
So
I mean. That's
like,
what I was before.
Right.
Like I'm a pre-COVID New York comic. You know what I mean?
You were here before that?
I was. I came up in New York. I started in 04 in New York. So it's not like I flew from New York. I didn't fly here
I got the sense you started there.
No,
and
absolutely
I was like,
not.
how is he fucking lapping everybody?
No,
that makes a lot more
not.
sense.
I'm from New York. Like,
Okay.
I was doing open mics. Like my first open mic was at the Cellar. This is back when like Eric Rivera was hosting open mics at the Cellar in like
Smiley.
03.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like I've been. So it was like I'm just here. Like it was like because it's like you leave New York and you're like, fuck, I wasn't taking advantage of that at all. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't
pizza.
right. Like I was fucking around doing coke when I should have been banging out spots.
Yeah.
And then you come back and you're like, nah, I'm back. Like let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Like I'll do.
And now you know you could just do coke after your spots.
Right.
Yeah.
You could do
It's
coke.
just,
Right.
It's just like organizing.
Right. That's it. It's just
Do drugs.
it's
Just do them
pacing.
responsibly.
It's true. It's
You got
absolutely
any
true.
travel tips for these people or no?
Travel tips? I would say pack light.
Damn, that's what Danny Brown's travel tip was.
Right?
Yeah. Pack light. It's a good one.
It's the best one.
Yeah.
Bring the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring a washcloth though. Bring a washcloth because mad spots just don't have washcloths. I don't get it. Like they'll have towels, they'll have hand towels, there's just no washcloths.
Interesting.
So bring a washcloth. Moisturize.
Where can people find you, buddy?
What'sreallygoodthough.com. That's the podcast.
What'sreallygoodthough.com?
What's Really Good Though?
Wait.
THO.
Oh, and that's the website. That's where you find it.
Yeah, that's the website.
What's really good though?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Who you do it with? Yourself?
it's me, Jonathan Randall, Phil Rizdon. So
Oh no, Phil.
we're gonna see.
What's really good though?
It's mad new, so this
Okay.
might not be relevant by the time
It
the
might be over. We'll
podcast
see.
comes
It won't be
out.
the first time it's happened. Somebody promoted something. It's like, oh, that thing doesn't exist anymore.
Sim de la Creme on Instagram.
Wait. Say that again. Sim
de la Creme,
D-E?
LACREME.
Okay. Sim de la Creme.
Sim de la Creme.
Simeon Goodson wasn't there?
That's me. Simeon Goodson, Facebook.
Oh, okay. Very nice. Buddy, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for
Takes
having
me back
me,
to
man.
being there. It's fucking good to
appreciate
hear
you.
about this shit. I
Yeah.
forgot about it. I got to get back at some point, even for vacation. All right. I'll let you go. Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate you, man.
Well, you guys, that's the episode. Thank you very much, Simeon Goodson, for coming in. Reach out to him at on Instagram at The Simeon Goodson Show and send him a message. Tell him you like the episode and follow him. Like I said, he's got 303 followers right now. Let's get him to 1,000. That would be very cool. It'd make him very happy. Do that for all my guests, by the way. For every one of the guests. If you like the episode, if you got nothing good to say about it, don't even watch. Dude, I was on Tucker Carlson this week. So much hatred without people even saying it. It was so great. So many I'm done with yous now. It's forever. From him, too. You had this motherfucker Ari on? I'm done with you, Tucker Carlson. Sorry about your 30-year-long career in journalism. This is the straw that broke the fucking Karen's back. Guys, before I go, I'd like to tell you about my Patreon and something I do during that. I decided to do one here. It's I get postcards from you guys from around the globe. And I read them right here on the Patreon. Patreon.com/You Be Trippin. This one is sent from Amsterdam. Can you see the fucking stamp? There's a postcard. Oop, there it is. Pretty interesting. You can send it to You Be Trippin. Right on here. 151 First Avenue, the number 1 First Avenue, number 49, New York, New York, 10003. I'll read this one. And then what I want to do is I want to fill up this whole fucking wall, include if I'm standing, by the way. Imagine like the screen goes out if you're watching and not listening. But I have this wall behind me if you're listening, and I want to fill it with all the postcards. I've done these 3 already. I've also do other things in the Patreon. I talk about some travels and stuff. Patreon.com/You Be Trippin. Okay, here we go. Hello, Ari. This is a postcard I found in my jacket the day after getting drunk in Amsterdam. In Amsterdam's red light district. Oh, the S was covered up by the stamp. Tip from me to you if you're sending a postcard. Put the stamp on first and then fill it out. I know it's counterintuitive and counter whatever, but like, guys, look at that. Those stamps are like way bigger than you think. You're never gonna fucking. It's a tip. You do whatever you want, but it's a tip. Hello, Ari. Here's a postcard I found in my jacket the day after getting drunk in Amsterdam's red light district. You guys know what Amsterdam's red light district? It's pretty fucking famous. If you don't know, it's where you get fucking hookers. I went there one time. Well, the first time I went there. It's interesting because they have different regions of the red light district. It's like districts of the district. So if you don't know, it's just, and I mean, have I done an, oh, I have done one with KFC. It's just like windows. It's like store windows. You know those things that come up, the window covers that like go all the way down, and then you like pull it down, and it goes woo, 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 and spins. Yeah, it's like that. And they stand there in the windows, and I guess you go, yeah, I'll take you. When I went, it was already the cell phone era, and they were just on their phones. I assumed they would have worked harder. It's very uncomfortable. You get up close, and they start waving you in, and it's like, fuck, I don't want to. Then I got to look away. So what I ended up doing is going across the canal and try to look directly across to stare at them. Anyway, some of them are really hot, some of them are gross, and they get grosser in certain areas. It's like the fat district. That's what I saw. Could have just been an off day. I don't know, but that's my observation. My favorite comment on the Tucker Carlson thing. You know what I need, by the way? I need someone to point out I need someone to help me make clips. I want a fan to help me find clips from the podcasts I'm on. Who wants to do it? I'll give you, what's fair? $50 a week to listen to the podcast I'm on. And all you got to do is point out a good in and out of a moment, a great moment that I had. Either funny, more likely, or super interesting. Yeah, write to me on maybe Instagram, I guess. I'll find another place. Anyway, the point is, where were we? Oh, so the red light district. So anyway, then you go further and further, and then it becomes the trans, or really just the cross-dressers. America has this idea about trans that is not shared by everyone. Kind of like when I had a South African that I actually met in Switzerland. I can't remember his name. Luiso Gola. Luiso. And he told me it's interesting that Americans have this version of black that is not shared by Africans because we have a slavery history and they don't. So like there was this ad, an H&M ad in Africa saying, so a black kid in a sweater, and it's like it was something along the lines of like, not another monkey from the tree or something like that. And everyone's like, that's so racist. And then the mom was like, we don't compare ourselves to monkeys here. That's you guys. So I don't even know what you're talking about. I might be getting that wrong. I think I'm getting it right, though. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, so the trans also is different in other places. I think I am. It's different in other places. And they have cross-dressers. Remember transvestites? What happened to them? Whatever happened to transvestites? Legitimately, what happened to transvestites and what happened to autistic kids? It used to be, no, you know what? Autism, I think, replaced people with birth defects. You know, when they had the cleft palate and stuff, people born like, smoke out of their lip. Those are gone now. And now we have hella autism. So the autism is like, oh, it's a problem, but it has replaced cleft lips, which is gross to be around. If you have cleft lip, sorry, but you know it's true. Anyway, so you go further and further out, and it's just dudes in like dudes in a bikini top, but like fat dudes in like with hairy chests, and like it's not this like I'm just trying to be a woman. It's like no, they're not. It's a different thing. Same thing with the lady boys in Thailand. They're not exactly trans. It's a different thing, and people are like you shouldn't call them lady boys. I'm like I got that from them. Here's a postcard I found on my jacket the day after getting drunk in Amsterdam's red light district. I may have stolen it. It may have been free. I have stories from that trip that include the best party I've ever been to. If you want to hear about it, let me know. I took 7 of these postcards. Best travels, Anthony. Well, Anthony, thank you very much for sending this postcard. The best party I've ever been to, I don't like the word best, but I will take one of my favorite parties was Wavy Davy's house in Edinburgh, Scotland. And man, the cocaine was flying. I mean, there was piles of it. Coke, Molly. I fake snorted cocaine there. I was nervous around it. I think I had maybe done it once. Maybe not, though. No, I had. I first did cocaine with a waitress at a comedy club in Seattle. And then we had sex. Without a condom. I don't know what happened to her. But I did know that at that comedy club, they told me you have to be clean. And I was like, I don't think you're talking to me. I think I'm a legit comic, and I think you're talking to your locals. And it was not clean. It went great. The club died. Also, later, I found a check from that club from behind my desk. When I moved my desk out, uncashed, $700. Tried to cash it, it bounced. The club was closed. I tried to call and say, can you write me a new check? And they're like, the business is done. You fucked up. Anyway, so thank you, Anthony. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right here, or here. We'll continue making this wall. I'm going to fill it up. Tom Rhodes, who I want on this podcast, has a fucking massive wall of these. And I'm going to copy him. Damn, nice one. All right, I got 4. Again, send it to 151, the number 1, First Avenue, number 49, New York, 10003. If you send a package, they will send it back, or it won't be put in the slot. It's just a postcard box. You cannot take anything bigger than like a letter. So don't send anything. And my assistant gets them, brings them to me, and then I read them on the Patreon.com/You Be Trippin. That was a fun one with Simeon. Thank you very much to Your Mom's House for producing this podcast, Alan Caffey for editing it. Thank you, Simeon, for fucking sending me all those pictures and fucking telling me about a great time in fucking China. I heard they're coming back now. I did just hear that they're coming back. I had the Wonton Don on today. I recorded one, and he told me that they're going back to like welcoming in like American dollars and white people. They kind of kicked everybody out, especially during COVID, and then it was like, oh, we're missing those bucks. So make a trip to China. Just don't speak out in the government, and you'll be fine. Run a disco night. Run a DJ night. Run a black night. Be Simeon Goodson. Guys, that's the episode. Thank you very much for tuning in. Subscribe right now before we go. And next week, who's on next week? I think I'm going to start a run of 4 podcasts in 4 different locations. So I think, well, we'll see. I don't know is my answer. I don't know who's on next week, but somebody big. July, that's nothing month, right? Who should I have on? Hold on. I can get this. I have it. You Be Trippin release order. I went to Yosemite for the first time. Oh, that's on the Patreon next week. Is all my national park stuff. I went to Yosemite and I went to Acadia, both for the first time. You Be Trippin guests. Oh, by the way, if you have a guest suggestion, reach out on YouTube. Tell me who it is and why that they've been somewhere that you want to see them on there. But let me know where they've been. Sometimes I'll respond to those. The first day or two of the YouTube release, I'll go in there and reply to the comments. They're fucking good tips on things to do in places. Okay, it's either going to be Mark Norman or H. Foley. Anyway, both will be good. Paris or Greece. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Thank you very much. Until next week, hold on. It's not ni hao. I have a computer in front of me. Goodbye in Mandarin. Here we go. Oh, I had to say this out loud. 再见. Until next week, everybody.
再见.
That's what I said. 再见. What a crazy language. Bye.